afternoon and welcome to Coffee with a Kick. I'm Xander, that's Keegan, and today we've got as disappointing as the first batch of 16 of the round of 16 was for the Champions League. I think this one made up for it. I prefer to have them a little more diversified, but we'll get to that at the moment. And then we of course have a limited supply of matches for this weekend, and TBH, not great. The quality that we do have. Maybe might dip into that FA Cup action. I don't know. But first we're going to start off with the Premier League match that we had on Wednesday. A very thrilling match there between Bournemouth and Luton Town. With Luton Town looking very nice in the first half. Very good in the first half. I don't want myself to be blown up by the lighting. Going 3-0 up before the half, and then with a vengeance seen seldom by anyone else, Bournemouth comes back and nets 4 in the second, and could have been more, to be frank. It actually took me a minute to figure out why this match was being played. This is the recapitulation of the match that occurred back in December when Luton Town's captain had his cardiac event on the field. So that's what this one is. I can't remember what they were sitting at when that had occurred, but this role definitely bodes well for Bournemouth going forward, because now, as we discussed in the last episode, I do think that they are for sure safe from relegation at this point.
Yeah, it was a tale of two halves, about as simple as you can put. I felt like Bournemouth came out obviously pretty excited to know that they were playing against Luton still. I think in the first half they forgot they were playing against Luton. Second half they're like, what are we doing? We're playing against Luton. I almost predicted it correctly, although Bournemouth decided to win. But yeah, I mean, it was a high-scoring game. Again, another one that I feel like we've seen Burnley drop points they should have gotten, Sheffield drop points they should have gotten, and now Luton. It seems like those three teams may be the ones that drop just because they can't finish. But, yeah, I mean, 7-goal thriller. I don't know what happened with Luton. I don't even think they got a shot on target in the entire second half. So,
no, it didn't seem like it. They barely had any possession in the second half, it felt like. Any meaningful possession. They were dinking around at the back sometimes. But, they only had a total of 4 shots on goal overall. 3 of those went in. But the goals there by Bournemouth were pretty nifty. There was that one really slick move there in the box. I think that was Solanke's goal, where he did a little drag pull through and hit. And then Semenyo's were nice hits in and of themselves. Luton just let him dribble at the top of the box and cranked off shots almost at will for those. And Solanke could have had 2 or 3 more goals. Probably should have had 2 or 3 more goals. And so Luton was lucky to save face at 4-3, which was strange to say. But yeah, Luton has a big match coming up this weekend against Nottingham Forest. This one, I mean, as much as Bournemouth they would have liked to have beaten and gotten Bournemouth back into the relegation conversation, Nottingham Forest, this is a huge match for their chances of staying up. But we'll get to that in a second with our predictions. Now we will move from the Premier League over to the Champions League. And I feel like we had extra time on both match days. I don't know which one. Which one did you prefer? Did you prefer the Arsenal-Porto match or the Atletico Internacional match more?
Try not to sneeze. Anyways, I felt like the regular time Madrid-Inter one was much more exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal, I mean, they scored in, the 25th minute, I think. And I thought after they scored, it was going to be all Arsenal.
Yeah.
And then Porto just really anchored down, actually had quite a bit of possession after that, too. So I feel like goal-wise, Madrid-Inter was a little bit more exciting. Definitely more exciting in the penalties. A little closer, a little bit more nervy.
Some great saves.
Yeah, great saves. I was bummed Inter couldn't finish it off because this would have been the perfect of perfect picks.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they couldn't do it.
Yeah, I was going to say that I was having trouble deciding whether you got this pick right or wrong because of the penalties. Because you picked 2-1, which is correct. But when Inter didn't pull through, I was like, well, now even though he picked the match score correct, he'd still got it wrong. So yeah, they were good. Really, all four were pretty good. I thought the Barcelona Napoli match was probably the least eventful. Because even the Dortmund and PSV match, PSV came out. They looked destitute in the first half. PSV did, but Dortmund, because Dortmund was playing so well, but they came out with some action there in the second half. PSV did and had a lot of good chances. They should have scored there. What was it, like the 90+2? They should have had one, but then they let and then at PSG, I think it was it Marco Reus who was involved in that last one. That really sealed it away for Dortmund to give you a perfect pick on it. You took it at 2-0, ended up being exactly that. But yeah, exciting matches overall in the match day. Yeah, then Barcelona did take care of Napoli. Yeah, Dortmund 3rd minute goal, 90+5 minute goal. So they spanned the whole match there for their goal production. But yeah, I think the home field advantage really did put Dortmund over the top like we thought it would. Yeah, but any other reaction to those two matches?
No, I mean, Dortmund, once they got there first, they were kind of just coasting.
Mm-hmm.
PSV second half looked a little bit more lively, but yeah, it didn't really feel like they even thought they had a chance going into it. Barcelona, that match was literally the 15th and 17th minute goal. Those two quick goals kind of put Napoli in a slump because even after the 30th minute goal, Barcelona just had to possess the rest of the match, and they had it. So, yeah, I mean, I felt like no shockers besides Porto almost getting in on Arsenal. But, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what the next pairings will be because I feel like all the big boys have kind of moved on.
Yeah, looking back on it now, you're kind of right. The only one that's like debatable is the Atleti Inter, but even then, either one of those teams is a top tier team. So it's pretty chalky going in here to the quarterfinals. Let's see. I think you would want Real Sociedad maybe if you had to pick. Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. Dortmund or Sociedad, I'd probably pick one of them. It looks like the quarterfinal draw will be on Friday.
Friday. Yes, I did see that. Later today. Or probably is already done by the time this will be posted. But we will react to it on the other side of the weekend. Which is a very limited weekend, which we'll go ahead and get to right now. Due to the FA Cup, which my Wolves are in the quarterfinals of. Just going to put that out there. And with a very good draw, we get to play Coventry to get into the semis. So, fingers crossed. And ratting the Molyneux here. We only have 4 matches to choose from this weekend. Like I said, not great matches, but they are somewhat meaningful. A lot of lower sides here. Brentford and Brentford goes to Burnley to start us off, with both sides needing points. Brentford currently 26 points, Lutontown on 21. Burnley, if they're going to make any sort of pressure upward, they've got to start getting 3. They're able to pull 1 and got a single point back on the 3 on 15, 16, 17 because they all lost last weekend. But they're going to need something here in order to get going. I don't think it happens. I think Brentford takes this 2-0 just because Burnley has not shown throughout the entire season any capability to score goals with any sort of regularity. What are they sitting on? Their goals for are currently 27, so averaging fewer than 1 goal a game, less than 1 goal a game. Only team worse, Sheffield United with 24 goals. So I think they get skunked here.
Yeah, I'm thinking that I don't know a skunking. I actually think that they might actually get 3 points in this one.
Really?
I think it being at home, they're
Mm-hmm.
desperate. They played pretty decent in the last week. It's kind of an awkward weekend, you know, a lot of FA Cup action, a lot of just kind of what's going on. I don't know. It feels like a weekend that they could sneak a 2-1 victory at home over
Right.
Brentford, who, depending on which Brentford side shows up,
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
could be Brentford wins 4-0 or they lose 2-1. I'm thinking 2-1.
Yeah. 2-1 for Burnley. Yeah, it is weird. We can FA Cup. We're going into a international break. So that will be interesting as well. Man, Brentford, at the beginning of December, they were sitting at, what is this? They were 11th on December 2nd. And since then they have plummeted. Since they won against Luton Town on December 2nd, they've only gotten 7 points since match day 14. Match day 15 onward, they have 7 total points scored. So, man, we were talking up Brentford earlier in the season as like a team that was shocking us, and they have returned to where we thought they would be originally, which is disappointing, obviously. But yeah, it will depend on which Brentford team shows up. Burnley, they have to play against type and actually score some goals, is what it seems like to me. Then to this one also very important for our bottom of the table, like we were talking about earlier. Luton Town hosts Nottingham Forest. They are currently 3 points separated. If Luton wins, they exit the relegation zone. Do you think they get the job done? Do you think they recover from this midweek madness?
You know, Luton gets the benefit of being at home. And I think that Kenilworth Road is going to be rocking. Anyone who's ever been a Luton fan is going to be there, all 6,000 of them. And they're going to be rocking. They're going to spur their team on. Luton's going to win 3-2.
Wow.
With a late winner to get them out of relegation, to give them hope. I still think they get relegated, but I think that Nottingham just has been so volatile. And when they're good, they're I don't even know. They're not a great team. They've had a lot of injuries. They have a new manager who doesn't even know who to play, honestly, once they sack the other guy. So I think Luton can do it. I'm going 3-2.
3-2. Man, that would be huge because that'll put them out of the relegation zone and a game in hand. So it'd be big for them. I think it goes not quite as well. I think it goes 2-2 for Nottingham Forest to stem the tide, to keep their spot above. Again, having that game in hand for Luton, that may come in handy here later on. I think it looks like it's been scheduled because it's not on the to be confirmed. But I'm not.
I think did they not just play it?
Oh, you know what? You're right. I forgot to refresh this page. So they no longer have a game in hand. They blew it.
Yeah.
As we just reviewed. Yeah, so it will be not enough for Luton Town in this one, and it's really one that they would need. I just don't trust them to put a full 90 minutes together. And I think that this midweek has shown that you can't trust them to do that. I'm
an optimist. I'm an optimist.
We'll see how far that gets you this match day. Then to our headliner for Saturday at 1:30, because daylight savings time makes our times even stranger now. Fulham hosts Tottenham Hotspur there at Craven Cottage in London. Another one of our London derbies. I think that Tottenham obviously is on the up and up. They just smashed Aston Villa 4-0. They kind of got a little reboot from losing to my Wolves. And I do think that they take this one as well. Fulham if that holds true, though, maybe Fulham will get a little boost from losing to my Wolves. But I think that Tottenham takes it 3-1 now that they're back more of at a full strength side. They've got Madison out there. They've got Son out there. Those guys have worked really well together earlier in the season, and they're starting to put it back together now that they're both healthy. And I am optimistic for Spurs the rest of the season.
I want to say that this is a trap game for Tottenham, but historically, they've been pretty decent in London derbies. It's typically the games versus like the Norwich Cities or the Lutons that they end up shock losing. So I think they take this one. I think it's close-ish. I think it's 3-1. I think it's close until Tottenham opens it up in the late second half. But you're right. I mean, they're only really missing Richarlison, and they're not really missing him at this point. So Tottenham takes it. It's going to be a win for them. Fulham, they're on 35 points. Really not anything to play for.
Yeah.
Maybe top 10 to get a little bit more money. But I think they come out flat-footed. Tottenham takes it.
Yeah, I think that's more than likely. And then to round out the weekend, because there's only 4 of them, on Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, West Ham hosts Aston Villa. Do you think anybody walks away with 3 on this one?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Aston Villa respond. Because it seemed like Unai Emery versus Tottenham put out a very lackadaisical team. He replaced some attacking options with defensive options, but tried to get them to attack. So I don't know. It'll really depend on how they line up. Aston Villa has played very well recently versus West Ham. Reverse fixture, they won 4-1. Before that, they had not beaten West Ham in, I think, 7 or 8 games. At London Stadium, I think I'm going to go a shock 2-0 victory for West Ham.
Wow.
I think that Aston Villa is still going to be mentally, maybe not declined, but just not really feeling it after the Tottenham game. They're one of those teams that they're good, but I don't know if their mentality is quite that like champion mentality that they need. So I think West Ham, a little bit more mature team, they come out, they get the business done.
Yeah, I think that West Ham's got a bit of a hangover from the thrashing they took not West Ham. Aston Villa has a little bit of a hangover from last week. I think they are able to put together enough to get a point, a 1-1 draw against West Ham. I'm not supremely confident in this, one, because it's a West Ham pick. However, I will say that Brighton Hove Albion has taken the place on my wall of shame. They actually notched their 11th straight miss for me last match day. So they're now on my I'd rather not pick their matches. I have to, but we will have to see that. Anyway, this is West Ham and Aston Villa, and I do think that Aston Villa goes in and gets a point in London. They need it because they lost to Tottenham, and Tottenham is on the rise and they're on the decline. This would, if those 2 results hold, and even if your results hold, that would put Tottenham up into secure Champions League position. They would be up to 4th at that point, just on goal difference and points. If mine holds, same, because Tottenham has a better goal difference than Aston Villa does. So that would be interesting. And yeah, just how the mighty have fallen with Aston Villa, knocking on the door of first, having it, I think they had it temporarily one weekend before Liverpool played. But they have shown that their mentality is not that of a champion this season. To be fair, we didn't think they'd be up there anyways. But we will see if they can pull something out this weekend and right the ship a little bit. If not, c'est la vie, bruv. We'll see what happens later on. Anyways, that brings us to the end of this match week. That will be not even half of, match week 29. They will be made up later on. And to the answer to this week's trivia, which was who managed the shock winner of the Champions League final in 2004, who then went on to be a prominent EPL manager? And my answer is I could not tell you. I could not tell.
Well, they call him the special one.
The special one.
He rose from nothing to take Porto to the Champions League final. He then moved on to become the Chelsea manager, who then won the Premier League with Chelsea. He's managed United. He's managed Tottenham. It's Jose Mourinho.
Jose Mourinho. Wow. Huh. I did not
Pretty
know
much anyone he's made. If Pep leaves, he'll probably manage City. He might go to Liverpool. Who knows? He's just managed every single good team for at least 18 months.
There we go. Jose Mourinho, the answer to this week's, I almost called it a riddle, trivia question. It wasn't quite, it's not a riddle. Not a riddle. All right, Jose Mourinho. Go ahead and lock that one away for your next pub trivia night. Your pub trivia night. And until we're back on the other side of the weekend, go ahead and grab some coffee, watch some soccer, and we'll see you on the other side.